One of the things that we've seen has been the Trump MAGA crowd parroting the notion that there was weaponization of the Department of Justice against Mr. Trump, which is obviously a narrative that you would like to deploy if your leader is in fact a criminal, was convicted in certain places, was indicted in others, and had the prosecutive team say, hey, we had a good case here when it was closed down. So faced with all that evidence, obviously the thing you want to say is weaponization, fake news, all the usual denials.
You hear that? A criminal. That's what Sheldon Whitehouse said. Donald Trump is a criminal. We suddenly stopped saying that because a ridiculous Supreme Court decision and other idiotic decisions of the past said we couldn't continue to prosecute the man and had to basically vacate what he'd already been found guilty of. Doesn't change the fact. And the thing about Sheldon Whitehouse in this video is he goes through it a lot. He goes through all of Trump's transgressions. He makes sure to point out how Trump is the fascist, Trump is the authoritarian. He's projecting what he is planning on doing, and he will lay that out in detail in a bit, onto Democrats. Democrats are the ones who weaponize the DOJ. Of course, that's not what happened. That's what Trump does. He sends them after his enemies. He doesn't even hide it. He called for them to go after the people like Chris Krebs that worked in his White House, and now they're investigating him. It's fucking ludicrous. Watch Sheldon Whitehouse as he goes through all the different ways that Donald Trump has been found guilty, and all the different ways he projects onto Democrats that they will do what he has already done and will do.
We have heard a lot about weaponization of the justice system from Trump and his allies. That's for two reasons. One, it's a handy narrative for Trump and MAGA cronies to paint him as a victim, not a convicted criminal who only dodged proper sentencing and further criminal charges because of sweeping presidential immunity granted by a Supreme Court stacked with right-wing justices he appointed. Two, it's a tactic for would-be autocrats. Accusations signal intentions. You accuse the other side of doing what you're plotting so that when you're caught doing it, you've set it up to look like offsetting penalties. Accusations signal intentions. And sure enough, now there's real weaponization of the justice system unfolding before our eyes. But what we see is real weaponization, not MAGA phony claims of weaponization, part of a political propaganda campaign to excuse the criminality of the dear leader. Here, all these red flags of actual weaponization are flying. Internal warnings that the case had no merit, removing officials for disagreement, proceeding without a career attorney, getting shot down by a magistrate judge, case shopping after the disaster, hunting for FBI agents to harass career civil servants for managing properly congressionally appropriated funding, making derogatory public comments, and all without evidence.
And there you have it. Laid out very clearly by Sheldon Whitehouse. Every way the Trump Justice Department has violated the law, has been unethical, essentially every way they have weaponized it. Not Joe Biden, them. They're using political appointees, not listening when judges tell them they have no case, not listening when career appointees tell them they have no case. They are turning it into a Brezhnevian or Stalin-like USSR Justice Department. I will say something about Sheldon Whitehouse because I've often been critical of the oldest generation and we need newer, younger voices. But he's been one of the ones who has been on this from the beginning, ripping corrupt Republicans, particularly the Supreme Court. Had he run the Judiciary Committee instead of Dick Durbin, I have a feeling that, Clarence Thomas would have been pulled before a committee or many subpoenas would have gone out, and I don't know if they would have held him in contempt. I don't know what would have happened in the end. It could have been a crisis, but you know what? He would have tried. So White House has been fantastic, and we should continue to embrace him as we invite this next generation in. But the reminder here is Trump weaponized the DOJ. Trump will weaponize the DOJ. He's doing it right now. And of course, the Democrats didn't do any of this crap. It's just bullshit made up by Republicans to cover their tracks, just like they always do. Just keep that in mind.